Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Walker Ford in Clearwater, Florida, and guess what? I have that one car a lot of people kind of dismiss and just look right past it. Is this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Mustang, but this isn't a Mustang GT. This is the entry-level Mustang EcoBoost. But before we get into this pony car with a turbo pack punch, let's talk about what's going on here. Very strange how things have changed over the years. Once upon a time, you'd be hard to find a Mustang with a V8 with this much horsepower that this four-cylinder turbocharged Mustang has. But when people hear about the Mustang EcoBoost, a lot of people are like, not the EcoBoost. Well, guess what? For people who maybe don't want to drop a ton of money on a brand new Mustang GT, or maybe you're not ready to do that, or maybe they just don't want to, this gives them that entryway. It's sort of like back in 1965, you could have your V8 Mustang. Actually, there was many different V8s you could have, but you could get the base engine, which was a straight six. Now, for some reason, a six-cylinder, some people are more okay with that than the four-cylinder turbo. But what's interesting is that the 2.3-liter turbocharged engine under the hood of this Mustang dates all the way back to the mid-1980s when Ford brought out the Mustang SVO, which was a turbocharged four-cylinder Mustang. But why don't we go ahead? I'll let you be the judge. I want to show you this Mustang EcoBoost, and I want to find out, is it the most affordable plus 300 horsepower plus vehicle out there that you should buy? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, I like the color combo. I'm all about a nice metallic gunmetal gray finish, and with the blacked out pony package on this one, it does have a lot of nice accents. Now, at the front of the business, even though this is an entry Mustang EcoBoost, you are going to get your LED headlights with everything blacked out. That's part of that midnight pony package. And of course, we have our LED daytime running lamps and turn signals that are horizontal rather than vertical like the previous generation. You do get your fake vent area, so I am gonna have to zonk that. I wish they could do something a little bit more creative with that. But pretty much from this corner, it looks like a Mustang with a V8. Actually, the one way to tell is that this fake vent is not as big as the fake vent on the GT, because the GT also has a fake vent. It's just a little bit larger. Now, as we come across the front grille, another way to tell that this is a Mustang EcoBoost is that you have a flat black grille, not gloss black, but we do have the blacked out pony, the Mustang badge, because of that midnight blacked out Mustang pony package. Down below, you got flat black on the grille, just like the top portion. And then you have a nice lower lip splitter that's all blended in cleanly. But like I said, the only way to tell from the front is that the grille is in gloss black and you got a little bit smaller fake vents on the corners. Now, as we rise up, this is another way to tell. No heat extractor. I actually like the look of a nice clean hood. And when you're looking at vehicles that have 300 horsepower plus, you're basically looking at cars like the Honda Civic Type R, the Acura Integra Type S, and you could even throw in the GR Corolla, which has 300 horsepower. Not a lot of vehicles out there with 300 horsepower plus at this price point. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working wheel and tire setup? Because we have the midnight pony package, you're gonna get these 19-inch wheels. Tires are 255 on the width, all four corners, and you're getting your standard brake calipers. If this was a Mustang GT, at least the front brakes would be 6-piston Brembos. The rears are not, unless it has the performance pack. But like I said, wheel design, I'm fine with it, and it works well with the gray. Working down the side, we do have gloss black on the mirror caps because of the blacked out pony package, and I like the black painted roof. That's another feature of the blacked out pony package. So technically this one is not a base, but it's pretty close. You can see the overall dimensions are going to be the same as a Mustang GT. You don't get a badge. So no 5.0 badge, working our way towards the rear. Still rear wheel drive. Coming towards the back, because we have the Midnight Pony package, you're getting the gloss black trunklet spoiler. And here's the other telltale sign, is this right here. Normally it would say GT. You just have the Mustang badge. You got your LED tri-bar taillights. And then finally, the last piece is you do have exhaust finishers, stainless steel, nice slash cut on both sides. But because there's one on each side for 2025 Mustangs and 2024, this generation, that is only available on the EcoBoost. Even if you get your standard exhaust on a Mustang GT, it still comes with 4 exhaust finishers. So quad exit exhaust, whereas the EcoBoost is just one on each side. If you go back to the beginnings of the S650 platform, GTs only had one exhaust on each side. They didn't come out with quad tip exhaust until they did the refresh in 2018, just to give you a little bit of background. But why don't we go ahead, we're talking about cars with 300 plus horsepower. For the money, let's go pop the hood and take a look at what we have. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Underneath the hood, there isn't an engine cover or anything like that, but that's kind of good in a way, because you could really see everything, especially our turbocharger that's mounted on the side there. Now, this engine is actually got ties to the Mazda Speed 3 turbocharged engine, because it was a 2.3 liter turbocharged inline 4, also the Ford Focus ST and the mighty Ford Focus RS. But what do we have for 2025 when it comes to this EcoBoost power plant? You're looking at still, like I said, 2.3 liter turbocharged inline 4, 315 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque. Now the sad news is that normally Mustangs, you get a choice of an automatic or a manual, but the bad news is for the S650 platform, EcoBoosts are just available with a 10-speed automatic. Comparing that to the other cars that are in competition with this vehicle, those cars all come standard with a manual, except for the GR Corolla now has an automatic or a manual. But you're looking at 0 to 60, 4.3 seconds, quarter mile in 13.1 seconds at 104 miles an hour. Top speed is 155 miles per hour. MPG's 21 the city, 29 the highway, and the vehicle weighs 3,812 pounds. So very interesting take on the performance and the numbers for the price. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this EcoBoost and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Mustang EcoBoost. I know this is a weird kind of comparison because, like I said, 315 horsepower, most of the competitors are either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. If you want to step up to 50 Gs, you can go with a Nissan Z, but that's 50 grand. Starting MSRP on a Mustang EcoBoost is 37. That's actually not too shabby in today's automotive industry. I'm not talking about 5 years ago. I'm talking about now. MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, is at 43,000. So you're still going to be less than a Civic Type R. You're pretty much, depending on how you spec your GR Corolla, mono e mono price-wise. If you go fully loaded, you're going closer to 50 grand. And an Integra Type S, you're looking at $54,000. See what I'm talking about when I say comparing to right now? But let's see what you get when you go good old EcoBoost to the door panels. You're still getting the same door panels as a Mustang GT. So your arms are not going to know the difference. Contrast stitching, soft touch material, a little bit of chrome finish, but like I said, it adds like a nice retro vibe. You got a door pocket where you could get 2 beef and cheddars and a big old bag of horsey sauce. Going from the door panel to the dash, Love the Mustang badge. Dash is the same whether you go GT or EcoBoost. Slide on in. Screens are the same. 13.2 inch, 12.3 inch. It's got all the same functions as the Mustang GT, including your auxiliary gauges. So another nice touch. This one is option with heated seats and ventilated seats. Remember, Civic Type R, you can't get heated and ventilated seats. GR Corolla, you can't get heated and ventilated seats. Even the $54,000 Integra Type S, you can't get heated and ventilated seats. Heated steering wheel. Let me throw it in reverse. Backup camera's decent. You do have your trajectory lines, which is nice. Working your way down, your bright start stop button. But real volume knob. USB-C, USB, and a 12 volt. Place for 4 Twinkies. That's going to control your only transmission. 10-speed automatic. 2 cup holders. You're getting the same key fob as a person with a Mustang GT. Same thing. Soft touch material with the stitching. Open this up. You got a 12 volt, and you could easily put, I would say, $1 million in there. No. Not $1 million in cash. You're not saving $1 million. I'm talking about 1,000 gram bars. Do the math. That's $1 million. It's really easy math. You just take the 0 from the 10 and add it to the 0 of 100 grand, which bumps it up to $1 million. Simple math. And then this one, like I said, the optional seats, the leather, nice stitching, electric bottom, manual back. I've already told you how I despise that. And you do get rear seats, not the most usable, but they are back there. If somebody's willing to take one for the team, which usually Steven is that person, he'll get in the back seat. But once you go over here to the business end, I want to show you behind the wheel of this Mustang EcoBoost. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. Now, you do have 3 memory seat settings for the driver's seat, but it's just the bottom, because only the bottom is electric. You do have the aluminum sill plate that lights up the Mustang name at night. And then the pedal box is fairly good. Aluminum dead pedal, aluminum brake pedal, aluminum throttle. I want an aluminum dead pedal. I feel like when I was a kid, I used to say to my parents, I want my MTV. I want my aluminum dead pedal, and I'm not gonna stop zonking it until somebody, whether Henry Ford has to rise from the grave and get it done, somebody needs to give me an aluminum dead pedal in these Mustangs. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room in here. I'm actually lowering it down a little bit. Look at this, all this room. Steering wheel, same wheel as a Mustang GT, guys. Flat bottom, the leather, the 2 different types of leather. It is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then, of course, you have your digital gauge cluster, which just like a Mustang GT, you could scroll through the different modes. And they got them all there, including drag strip and track, and of course, sport and normal with all the cool graphics. But why don't we go ahead? We got a trunk. I'm going to go ahead and show you, since we're kind of comparing this to other vehicles. And then once I show you the trunk, we're going on throttle in this Mustang EcoBoost. All right, guys, time to get in the trunk. You do have a nice button underneath the rear bumper here. Lift it up. You're going to be greeted to 14 cubic feet of space. Those rear seats do fold down, 50-50 split. And do we have a spare? No, you get a can of Flat Fix and an electric air compressor. So no spare even in the EcoBoost. But why don't we go ahead? If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's see how this EcoBoost goes on throttle. All right, guys, we're leaving Walker Ford. We're inside this 2025 Mustang EcoBoost. I do have it in track mode. I'm gonna go ahead and slow down here, and then we're gonna go on throttle. Let me make sure nobody's behind us. You ready? On throttle, here we go. Not too shabby. It's definitely quicker off the line than the competition. And a lot of that has to do with the 10-speed automatic and how that 2.3 liter turbocharged engine builds its power. You're not really waiting for boost to kick in. And because it's rear wheel drive, it's not like you're gonna overpower the rear wheels. Whereas in a Type R or a Type S, very easy to overpower the wheels, especially when you're at a dead stop. Now, the great news is when you're behind the wheel, like I pointed out when we did the interior, it's all like a Mustang GT. Same screens, not my favorite, but you get the same screens, they're not watered down. And on this one, because it is optioned this way, it does have heated and ventilated seats, and you're still underneath the price point of pretty much the competition. So that's the other big piece of news. Now, when it comes to comfort, these seats are actually pretty fantastic. They don't have the lateral support that the competition has, but outright comfort, these are super, super comfy seats. And they have just a little bit of a lateral support. But, you know, I think you're gonna like the overall driving position behind the wheel of the Mustang EcoBoost. And like I said, say what you want about how a Mustang's gotta have a V8 and all that good stuff. I get it. I get why you're saying it. But also understand that there needs to be an option for those that don't want the V8. For whatever reason, whether they can't afford it, they're not ready for it, whatever. It's nice to have the option. And it, like I said, according to pricing today, this is the more affordable option for the amount of performance that you're getting. But going down the road, super smooth. I like the fact that it's got the 19-inch wheels. And I think you're really going to be impressed with how the 10-speed behaves with the 2.3-liter EcoBoost. It's actually quite impressive. And you don't have a lot of weight off the front of the car, so handling is actually quite nimble for this type of car. On the brakes, nice smooth downshifts. Here we go. On throttle! Here we go. Now, on a road course or a twisty road, I think the other cars are gonna eat your lunch. But straight line performance and overall drivability, for the money, the others can't touch it. They can't. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily buy this car for myself, but like I said, for somebody looking at this price point, it does give you an option that is quite different from the rest of the competition. And if there's other cars that are brand new, remember we're talking about brand new cars, if there's other new cars that you think are in this price point with 300 plus horsepower that I didn't mention, let me know in the comment section your thoughts. But it has to be at this price point. Don't tell me, like I said, a Nissan Z. Nissan Z, even the sport trim, the base, is not $43,000. It wishes it was $43,000, but it's not. But like I said, driving this vehicle, it has the character, the look of the Mustang. It's got better fuel economy than a GT. You're down on the V8 sound and some of the performance numbers. But you're also down on price. But we're gonna go ahead. Hopefully you've enjoyed this interesting overall review of this Mustang EcoBoost. We're gonna get back to Walker Ford and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a Mustang minute. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways here at Walker Ford. Definitely got to thank Frank Walker, Western Walker, and Tracy getting us access to this 2025 Mustang EcoBoost. Let me know what you think. For the money, we got 315 horsepower. Is this the most affordable way to go to have a performance style car with 300 plus horsepower? The way that you would go? Let me know down in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rides family. Got to give it up to Stephen Flood. He's working hard no matter what the temperature is outside, and right now it's about 95. So thank you, Stephen, for sweating it out with me. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.